Hello, welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished. West Ham United 0, Everton 1. Before we get into it, a little bit of a reminder. We're the way to discuss the game and the game only. This does not represent our reflection of the whole season, so we're a way to say we're a bit crap. Doesn't mean we've not had a good season. But anyway, how are you feeling, Gonzo?
Well, we're a bit crap. Yeah, I mean, deflated, really, to be honest with you. Never really felt I had anything to get behind, you know. Never felt, even at the end, there was a goal coming or anything. So to only be 1-0 down and not think, hold on, we can get an equaliser or something like that. That was hard, but a lot of that was down to Everton as well as us, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the first opening part of the game, I thought every 5 minutes I got a little bit more worried, to be honest with you. I thought we were lacking. I say something. We were lacking everything, actually. I thought going forward, I don't think we had much about us. I thought Everton looked a bit more lively than us, looked a bit more composed than us. And, 26 minutes in, Gonzo, they opened the goals. They opened the scoring. Ben Godfrey with a good run from right centre-back and that lovely through ball to Calvin-Lewin who slots it home.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lovely through ball from a centre-half, but it shouldn't have been. It wouldn't... it's not one of those ones if De Bruyne plays, wonderful. It travelled too far, basically. The offside trap should have been deployed, which it wasn't. I think it was Dawson, wasn't it, obviously, who wasn't in line. And then once it was played through, Dawson, you called it before the game started that Dawson was slow. He just couldn't keep up with him, couldn't catch him. I actually thought he finished it relatively well. I don't know, could Fabianski have done a little bit more? But he did finish it very, very well, Calvin-Lewin. But it was an easy goal. I'd be really disappointed for that ball to travel all that way. And it seemed to be sort of no one in midfield at that point to cut it out either. So, yeah. And then because they were defended so well, it was always going to be difficult after that because they just said, come on, then what you got?
Yeah, I thought that it was a fantastic ball by him. It's a really good run. I say a really good run by Calvin-Lewin. It's a good run. He has to slow his run down. He has to hold back a little bit because he's sort of offside, or he thinks he's away to be offside. And Dawson's position originally is poor because he's about a yard or two behind the next defender in Soufal. And then, he sees Calvin-Lewin running and he's a bit slow to react and he's just too slow in general. It's a good finish by him. It's what you would expect when Calvin-Lewin gets an opportunity like that, or Charlison gets an opportunity like that, or Lingard. You expect the ball to hit the back of the net kind of thing. So as soon as he was in, when they left him, great goal, good, like I said, good run, good goal, good pass. But it's just, from then on, you just thought, when that happened, there was evidence beforehand. But from then on, I thought Ancelotti's really done a number on Moyes here. Ancelotti's stitched Moyes up big. I say stitched him up. Ancelotti won the game with the tactics. His tactics were spot on. Going two up front, having a little bit of pace against our centre backs, playing the formation that Newcastle played. Wing backs crowded in the middle of their defence. Three big boys in there, and Godfrey, Mina, and Keane. We kept on crossing it. And they were dealing with it all day long. They were enjoying us crossing it because it was easy for them. We were struggling to beat the first man, and when we did, it was usually Antonio crossing the ball to Antonio. Our guy that's meant to be in the box is the one out wide all the time. And it was just half time gone. So how are you feeling? What are you thinking?
I was thinking we have to get Souček into the box. I mean, this is the thing about missing Declan Rice today, because it doesn't free up. And I think he got in there once, and he got a header which sort of went over. But when you're playing up against players like that, and I said about Mina in the build-up, that's quite right that they played him. That was quite telling. His one-on-one duel with Antonio was. I think if I was watching a neutral one, I would have possibly quite enjoyed it. But Mina was winning it. So I didn't enjoy it because I'm a West Ham fan. And I just thought, right, okay, can we do something that frees up Souček so as he can then be the one? Because we were crossing it in. And some of the crosses were fine. It's not like every cross was bad, but some of the crosses were fine. And they'd also defended, I think, 4 or 5 corners Everton had in the first half as well. So I thought we're not getting any joy from that, despite our big guys. They were very good, defended them so well. They were like, the commentator said, a brick wall. They were like a brick wall. So I thought, can we, from open play, get Souček into those positions? Because he is actually the one player that probably can, if given 4 or 5 chances, score a goal from a header, which is the route we were trying to score from. So I was really disappointed for them to come out in the second half, and that little tweak, vital tweak, had not been done.
Yeah, I think the best chance of the half fell to Benrahma's header, and he's got to score that. I know his heading's not his forte and stuff, but when you're an attacking player, especially when you've been in Championship for a few years and you've been scoring that many goals and creating that many chances in an attacking team, when it was falling to him, I expected better. He's got to hit the target from there, kind of thing. And for a player that's been in and out the team, he's been waiting for something to fall his way. And it's a case of when it does fall your way, you're going to have to take your chance. And he's seen, since he's been at West Ham, he's seen players get into the team ahead of him sometimes, or in different positions, get in the team. They take their opportunity and then they get rewarded with a run in the team kind of thing. You know, Jesse Lingard's a prime example. Rocked up on loan, went straight into the team, bang, goals, that's it, you're in the team, that kind of thing. And that's what Said needs. You've seen Bowen in and out of the team, but Bowen usually goes in and does something, then gets a run in the first 11. Benrahma's not really had that run yet, and today was the opportunity. He's got to be doing better with that header. It might be a bit harsh. You know, Charlie earlier was saying it was harsh to sort of criticise him for it, but he's got all the time in the world. There's no defenders around him. You can see it from a decent distance as well. I get what he's trying to do. He's going for the far corner kind of thing. He's almost trying too hard. I think you're almost better just banging it into the ground and hoping to beat Pickford or something. But it's just disappointing. But anyway, the second half, what did you make of it, really? Because it was sort of like the same thing happened from 45th minute to the 90th. It was relatively the same kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we lacked any fizz. We were a bit insipid today. We lacked real urgency. And I don't mean there was nobody that wanted to win. I don't think that at all. But it's like we didn't know how to. And Everton were saying, well, come on in. You know, give it your best shot. And what the tactical observation I made about Souček. Okay, so that rules out the crossing. So the crossing's not going to happen. They were dealing with the corners. That's that thing. So then what you're going to do? Well, you're going to either have to have a long shot, which we didn't, or you're going to have to try and dribble your way through with 1-2s. Now, if you're going to do that, then actually you need Benrahma, you need Lingard, and Antonio probably, who would have most furthest forward. You need those guys to be on form, and they weren't. And I think it was epitomised probably when Lingard broke through. He tried to play 1-2, and he tried to do a sort of drag back, a back heel to roll it in. He didn't really get his boot on the ball properly, so he obviously wanted it to roll about 2 or 3 meters. It rolled about 2 or 3 inches, and it sort of summed it up. And anything creative and tricky we were trying to do just didn't come off, just didn't happen.
I think Everton, I think Ancelotti got it bang on today. Carlo Ancelotti won that game for Everton with his tactics. He caused us threat with the way they set up, but we just couldn't get near them going forward. They've done what we've done to teams this season. We got the goal, sat back and said, what are you going to do about it? And we kept thumping it in the box, and they kept thumping it away and saying, you're going to have to do better. And the problem was, we couldn't do better. We already had the best players on the pitch. We brought on Yarmolenko kind of thing, and even when he was crossing it wasn't good enough. They were overhit, they were underhit, whatever. And at one of those times today where I don't think by the way, for what it's worth, I think the referee was excellent. He let a lot go. He let the game get tasty. I loved that. I love a referee like that. But because the referee allowed that, I think 1 or 2 players started to get a little bit. I thought Jesse Lingard, he was gone. I thought Richarlison at one point looked really wound up and stuff. And there's 1 or 2 players out there who almost struggled with the way the referee was allowing the game to go and flow with the tempo and stuff. And I thought some players relished it. I thought Alan relished that kind of game. He likes getting stuck in. He did that crunchy tackle, got a yellow card for it, but what he done, he turned around to David Moyes. He apologised to David Moyes. He knows what he's doing, and he goes, bang, there you go, I'll take my yellow card now. Tom Davies is loving that. He was strutting around the centre park, putting in the crunchy tackles. I thought the referee was fantastic. I thought Everton were magnificent today. I thought Ancelotti got his tactics bang on. And it's one of those days, I feel like just saying, we got beaten by the better team. That's it. Okay, we got beaten by a better team. The better manager won today. That's it. But it's just such a lost opportunity, Gonzo. I find it hard to sort of say that without feeling a little bit sour, if I'm honest, because the season's been excellent, no doubt about that. But today it was poor from us. We were poor. I just felt it doesn't help Creswell going off injured and Lanzini going off injured and stuff. But we could have played for another 45 minutes and still lost 1-0. If anything, they would have scored before we did. I mean, Josh King almost did, hitting the post and keep it off the line kind of thing. We just weren't good enough.
No, and I do agree with all that. And Everton were excellent, and we had no answers. I thought they defended really, really well. Particularly, at points, it flashed up the stat on the screen. It was well into the second half, and we had 72% possession. I mean, we just couldn't do anything. And they were defending really, really well. All aspects of defending. The marking was well. The pressing, the early press, even though they were pressing our defenders, forcing us to pass it back to the goalkeeper. When we got into midfield, they were pressing us. Then when we eventually made our way up the pitch, then they were blocking, they were tackling, and they were heading it out. So it actually was a masterclass in defending. I thought they were brilliant. And I think they would have caused a lot of teams trouble today in terms of stopping the opposition from scoring. That being said, if that's going to happen, you need to be at your best. And I think if we're at our best, we can still score against them. But we came up against a very, very good Everton team today on a day when we didn't have any fizz, and we just didn't look, I'm not going to say up for it. Clearly we were up for it. But we had nothing. Yarmolenko, you mentioned Yarmolenko came on. He was limping as soon as he came on. He ran onto the pitch limping, by the way, if anybody noticed. And I actually thought Lanzini was going to be, at the point came off my man of the match. I thought he was the one trying to dictate play. I thought he'd done 3 magnificent tackles as well. He just looked like somebody that had been playing in central midfield all his life. And I thought, oh, no, this ain't great when he goes off. And then, I also look near the end. Substitutions aside, the 4 substitutions, because we had to do 2, which only left us sort of 1 tactical one, which was Yarmolenko. And I look at it and I think, here's the time you actually do need an additional centre forward. And I thought that when King came up.
He's got one.
Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough. But okay, one you're going to use then. That's the point where somebody else just think, right, okay, we need something else. There needs to be another guy in the box, because crikey, come the end, we had about 8 or 9 men stood outside the box or around it, just trying to do something. But we can't get through. This brick wall was there.
I was almost disappointed that we left until the 90th minute to put Diop up front. Honestly, from the 80th minute, I was genuinely thinking, put Diop up front. Everton was so far back, it was ridiculous, but it was working for them. They had absolutely no reason to not commit players back, keep it tight, see out the 1-0. They were comfortable. They were happy defending. I was actually thinking at one point, I'd almost rather have taken on Ogbonna and put Dawson or Diop up front and said, you know what, this is going to be ugly as hell. But the only one thing we had a lot of today was crosses. Everton were letting us cross the ball because they had no wingers. They had 3 centre midfielders, 2 strikers, and a back 5. We had loads of room down the side. And then it sort of didn't help when Creswell went off. All of a sudden, you've got a right footer playing on the left, so you can no longer go down and cross it. You've got to cut back and stuff like that. I think we'd have almost been better off on a centre back up front a little bit quicker and just kept on. Like you said, it gets Souček in the box. But for the last 5 minutes, Fernandes was playing centre back. He was just picking the ball up halfway and giving it to someone else, kind of thing. But I hate saying this against our team, but on Monday I said to you, we just wanted it more than Burnley. Yeah. I hate to say this, but today I felt Everton just wanted it more. There's at one point Coleman was hassling Lingard for about 5 yards. Yeah, Lingard was wanting a free kick, and the linesman was looking, going, he's not doing anything wrong. Coleman kept nipping away. In the end, went for a throw. You could see Lingard saying, what's going on? Where's my free kick? And you could see the linesman saying, what for? And Seamus Coleman's running back into position, ready to go again. Soufal went down. You could see Coleman turn around and say, F off. What are you doing? Get up. And I just thought Everton were a little bit harder.
They were harder. They were tougher than we were today. Yep.
We didn't get bullied, but they very much intimidated us a little bit. I felt, like I said, the crunchy tackles were going in, and I just think there was only one team really up for doing the crunchy tackles, and it wasn't West Ham, and that's just a bit disappointing. I think it showed in the end, and we ran out of ideas. We didn't have much ideas to start with, and we just ran out of them. I mean, when you're in games like this, you're looking at your sort of majestic players, if you like, saying, yes, can you do something, please? And neither of them, I say neither of them because there's 2 for me. There's Lingard and Benrahma.
And Yarmolenko. Can you curl it into the top corner? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Yarmolenko coming on made sense because it was at that point where it was like, we're just going to need someone to hit it from 25 yards out and score.
Yeah.
the more we talk about it going, the more frustrated I get. It's just such a. The problem is now Everton are back in this European race now, big time.
Yeah.
Okay, they're 2 points behind us, game in hand. It's looking scary. European football essentially is we're struggling to keep it in our own hands. We've got 3 winnable fixtures and stuff, but Everton are back in this, and you get the vibe that between us, Everton, and Tottenham, one of us is finishing 8th and not getting European football. You get that feel. Of course, we can still finish above Liverpool and get 5th, but given their running, I'm a bit concerned. Any sort of words on the game before we talk about individual performers?
And I was just. It was a no-show. It was a no-show, Gio. It was a no-show really from us. Individual performers. I think we've already covered quite a few of them actually. I mean, you can't really criticise the fact that the crosses came in. So in that sense, Soufal was still getting up and down, trying to do his bit, as was Cresswell. Their goal was, I felt, an individual error as well in terms of the positioning for the offside. I actually thought Diop played all right, to be fair, for most of the game. I thought Souček was doing all right defensively. I thought Lanzini was doing all right. So it wasn't that. It was because they didn't spend all game attacking us. So, but it was our inability to break them down. So my focus was really on Lingard, Benrahma, and Antonio. A little bit. I'll give a little bit more leniency maybe to Antonio because I think he just got out in many respects. He doesn't get out muscled very often. He was out muscled today. He was out big bloked by a bigger bloke, right? I mean, it was as I say, if I was a neutral, I'd quite have enjoyed that battle. But it is up to Benrahma and it's up to Lingard to make something happen in that. And it's not like they didn't show up, but they did show up. They showed up, but they didn't have the twinkle. They didn't have the sparkle. Neither of them turned up and said, "I'm the best player on this pitch today. Watch this." And
well, someone did.
Did someone what? West Ham?
No, Alan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but look, yeah, he played well, but that's central midfield. I'm talking about us unlocking their defence. I'm gonna curl it in the top corner. I'm gonna dribble round, and that was gone. Lingard's usual game intelligence and game awareness, and particularly the way he positions his body. Lingard's very, very clever. The little spins he does, that was gone. And then you look at Benrahma. Benrahma can usually dribble into the box, even if necessarily the cross doesn't always come or whatever. Still, even when he doesn't play particularly well, he can beat 2 or 3 men. That had gone. So we had none of that today, and I think that's invariably what probably cost us because we did have a lot of possession. It was when we got to the 18-yard line, it all stopped.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was really like more than a 6 out of 10 today, and I think that's the problem. You can get away with half your team being 6 out of 10 as long as the other half are 8 out of 10 kind of thing. Or if you look at the likes of Lingard and he puts in a top performance, he can sometimes win you the game on his own. There was just none of that about us today at all. Everybody was average at best. Like I said, I thought Alan bossed it. I thought we couldn't he just ran the game today completely. I think he strolled through the midfield, dictated the tempo completely. Whenever Everton needed a breather, he got on the ball and moved the ball about. Whenever we got a bit of momentum going, he would commit a foul or he'd win the ball back in midfield for them. I thought he was class today, unbelievably class. And Lingard's a funny one because I thought he had a really quiet game going forward, but there's 1 or 2 times where he goes to try something. He did a 1-2 with Bowen at the end of the first half, and Bowen's return was awful. He just passed it to the defence. You can see Lingard jumping and waving his arms around, saying, "What are you doing?" Because about 5 minutes before that, Antonio had a ball on the left wing. For some reason, Antonio kept turning up on the left wing far too often. And Lingard was 25 yards from the goal, completely unmarked, waving his arms around for it. And Antonio gave to Souček. And you can see Lingard, I think he looked at Soufal and said, "Why is he not giving me the ball?" kind of thing. And sometimes I almost get worried that Lingard's almost like too good for us to some extent. Yeah. There's not enough players on his wavelength. He does the 1-2, and Bowen did see the 1-2. He knew what Jesse wanted to do. It's just that you can execute it. You can see Lingard getting, and at times it's just a bit quiet. And I think I'm looking at him thinking, is his head in this? Is he wanting this? And then he chased Coleman 50 yards and put in a last-ditch tackle. And I thought, you cannot question this guy's desire to West Ham, because when he got that foul given against him, he started effing and blinding at the referee. It's a silly yellow card, but it shows he cares. But that run, tracking Seamus Coleman and that tackle, given that, I don't think you can question Lingard's heart or commitment to the team, if you like. But it's another quiet game. That's 3 or 4 now games. He's not quite done it. Benrahma, it was no worse than Jesse Lingard. But
but
Jesse Lingard's got
credit in the bank.
Yeah. Jesse Lingard can play 2 or 3 quiet games and play a 4th game. Benrahma can't. Benrahma needs to play well 2 or 3 games in a row in order to see it. And Bowen will be thinking, I've probably got his shirt for the next game, kind of thing. I thought Creswell and Soufal were okay, but I think they had an easy game given that Everton had no wingers. They were able to get forward quite well. Antonio kept coming wide. We worked hard. I've got no doubt about our commitment. It's just that I think we did a bit of Tottenham. We bottled it a little bit today. I don't know why or what it is, but at the same time, I think it's more credit to Everton rather than criticising West Ham.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good.
I think Everton were fantastic. But anyway, do you have sort of any final words? I doubt we're going to do Hammer of the match today, but if you've got anyone, feel free to shout them out.
No, look, I think there are. I think Diop can say nothing to do with me, Gov. I think he can today. I think that's fair enough. As you say, as the fullbacks did. I thought Fornells kept on working hard all game, trying his best. It wasn't an attitude thing. It was a cutting edge today. We lacked the cutting edge to break down a really good defence, and that would be my final words on it. Really, despite sometimes us being camped in their half, we had no answer. We had that. Their question was, "Can you break us down?" And we had no answer at all.
Was that down to the players, or were the tactics wrong, or a bit of both?
I think a bit of both. I think a bit of both. As I say, I think I said, okay, we're crossing it over. Well, we got one guy who's really good at that. And we know Moyes likes this, be it a Fellaini or even Cahill. And I know Cahill wasn't tall, but Cahill had a hell of a jump on him and he used to contest those headers in the box. We know he likes this, Moyes. So Moyes must know. And I understand the situation. We're missing Noble. We're missing Rice. Lanzini's gone off. He's probably thinking, I've got to have Souček in there. But at some point, you've also got to take into the context of the situation, which is we're already losing. Actually, what we're going to miss out on here is the top 4. If you lose another goal or 2, it don't matter. Can you get one back? So tactically, Souček should have been in there, and the crosses should have been coming in, and it should have been him going up against Keane and Mina, right? So yes, tactically, but also the players. We needed Lingard and Benrahma to sparkle today, and they just didn't.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything he said there. But the lineups come out, I was happy enough. I saw the Everton one and got a bit concerned as to what Carlo Ancelotti was doing. I think the credit goes with Everton really today. And I thought Ancelotti played a blinder. I think Fornells was really good. I think Soufal played really good as well. I think those 2 players were the standouts for me. Soufal obviously hit the post as well, which is unfortunate. He's like he normally doesn't shoot at all, but today he decides I'm going to hit it first time here. Hits the post, and you get a little bit of luck. The ball falls an inch or 2 lower, and Jared Bowen taps it in, kind of thing. But it just hits him sort of in the thigh. There's nothing he can do about it. He's got half a second to react. There's nothing he can do. It's just a bit unfortunate that the ball just doesn't fall his way, and sums up West Ham today a little bit. We needed a little bit of luck somewhere. We didn't get any of it. We didn't deserve any of it. Everton didn't need any. They get 3 points and we go again. We've got, before today, we had 3 cup finals left between now and the end of the season. We've still got 3 cup finals. Yeah. The end game's possibly a little bit different now, and that is Champions League. Brendan Rodgers will be delighted tonight. Brendan Rodgers will be thinking, we've got away with this. Let's pray someone stops Liverpool getting a win. But top 4's got even more difficult and possibly unlikely again. But win our next 3, you just never know. And like I said, Everton's now back in the European race, which is bad for us. Anyway, shall we leave it there, Gonzo?
I think so, mate. I think so.
Brilliant. If you enjoyed this review, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in a bit.